I have noticed a trend recently where more elite Khorne armies tend to do better in land battles for whatever reason in a lot of situations. Today, though, Stormrunner is turning it up to 11 with this Khorne build. It's all rank 9 stuff, led by our Herald of Khorne here. We've got the Hellforge host, of course, rank 9 exalted bloodletters here as the ROR. We've got 2 more rank 9 exalted bloodletters, 2 rank 9 fleshhounds, 48 melee attack, 34 melee defense on them, and then 2 rank 9 Bloodcrushers, one of them being, of course, the Regiment of Renown Heralds of Khorne's Fury. Yes, and that's pretty much it. Very tall, very small, very elite Khorne build here. And on the flip side, we've got a relatively elite Warriors of Chaos build under Be'lakor as well. Got some Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes, including one of Khorne, I believe. Yep, over on the far side. 3 Chosen of Nurgle, 1 regular warrior with great weapon. Sorry, 4 Chosen of... Yeah, no, 3 Chosen of Nurgle, 2 warriors with great weapons. That's right. So, both going relatively elite here, which is interesting for me to see. I tend to see more wider armies typically in multiplayer, but these elite Khorne armies tend to perform as long as you don't get blasted by too much spell or missile damage, or, you know, take too much shock damage. Even then, as long as you can get into melee with Khorne most of the time, you'll do fairly well. And the fact of the matter is, with the leadership buffs from the rank 9, and not only that, but a lot of people don't realize that XP chevrons actually reduce vigor loss as well, so your units will tire slower. Here, the Khorne hounds, the flesh hounds, definitely feeling the pain of the Marauder Horsemen firing in melee. It's a little bit of a bug right now, but we're missing the main charge in the front line. Bloodletters, Bloodcrushers just getting in here straight into the Chosen of Nurgle, one of the tankiest great weapon infantry in the entire game. Let's see how they can hold out against this relentless assault. The Heralds of Khorne Fury, Bloodcrushers here, 2v1. They're going to get a Pit of Shades, a little bit of a longer wind-up time, so some of the models will be able to move out of the way. Not to mention spell resistance, but still, both are going to take pretty significant damage. That being said, Exalted Bloodletters in the front line, I mean, obviously they're going to crump those warriors, no problem, but the Chosen here in particular, the Chosen of Nurgle, are just getting hard slapped. I mean, they're definitely doing some damage back, don't get me wrong. You can see the Hellforge hosts have definitely taken a beating. A lot of that coming from the Marauder Horsemen. Throwing axes as well. Finally, one of the Flesh Hounds manages to get up and around the flank here, start to pressure those units away, but I'm very surprised at how quickly all those Chosen of Nurgle pretty much just evaporated. I mean, we've still got the one unit here holding out on the flank. They're now going to start to get surrounded by these Exalted Bloodletters. Man, elite Chaos units duking it out just looks amazing. Herald also comes over to help provide some extra armor-piercing splash damage. The Hounds and the Heralds of Khorne's Fury also push back. Obviously, Be'lakor still a huge presence. He's got quite a bit of HP. Going to be a big pain to try and deal with. Comes in there and slaps one Bloodcrusher down. But, I mean, alarmingly fast how quickly that engagement went, considering these two kind of top-tier elite melee armies. There's still quite a bit of time left here, though, as they try and finish up the engagement. Exalted Bloodletters, again, I note the leadership here. A lot of the time, people complain about demon units just disintegrating too quickly. These guys are basically fighting until the bitter end. I mean, there's, what, 12 models technically still left alive, and they're all fully surrounded, more or less, or at least were until the Bloodcrushers charged in. Yes, blood for the blood god, down with Nurgle, I guess. I don't know. Be'lakor serves everyone. He's the original ever Chosen, right? So that means he'd be more of an undivided type character. But anyway, nice little, yeah, nice little finishing engagement there to just eat up those Chosen of Nurgle. And the Herald now, with the support of these 2 rank 9 Bloodcrushers, should be able to contest against Be'lakor himself. Be'lakor comes over here to finish off the Hellforge host. Too few in number to really make too significant of a difference against him, although certainly they will get some hits in the meantime, as they themselves start to disintegrate. But let's see. Herald's going to have to be careful. One danger to Khorne here is if the Herald gets sniped out by Be'lakor, then the rank 9 demons, obviously, they're not necessarily just going to immediately start disintegrating, but out in the distance, those Marauder Horsemen getting chased by the Flesh Hounds also pretty key to get rid of those skirmish cavalry. But while the Bloodcrushers are trying to shatter those Chosen, poor Herald here gets soloed against Be'lakor, which is definitely not going to be a good time for him. Exalted Bloodletters here, managing to survive, though, do get in a supporting engagement. Chosen of Nurgle, also a handful of them, trying to provide a little bit of poison here, but they just get shredded by those Bloodletters. Oh, man, synchronized removing of arms, quite literally. And now Be'lakor has a pretty big problem. Maybe he can slap down this Herald pretty quickly, and that is going to keep the balance of power from getting too far away. But the Bloodcrushers, both units here, relatively healthy, can come in and get a nice surround. So let's see. It's definitely up to RNG at this point to a large degree, but Khorne putting themselves in a good position. Be'lakor, though, Warriors of Chaos player here, being very patient, having one more Pit of Shades to try and drop in the endgame. Obviously, all these units have spell resistance, so it's not going to do too much. I don't think that's even overcast, but it will do a bit of extra damage, and certainly at least finishes off one unit of Exalted Bloodletters. Looks like it's likely going to finish off the second unit of Exalted Bloodletters as well. Maybe not, actually. Their leadership stabilizes with 3 unit models alive. That's what those rank 9 stats will do for you. So, most of the time, I mean, taking a unit to rank 9 is fun for a laugh, can be actually legit useful in certain situations, but I need to do some more direct experimentation with myself and Khorne and try out some different builds with rank 9. I don't know, because Khorne, again, not necessarily a hard and fast rule, but it seems like elite Khorne builds tend to do better from what I've seen and in my own experience. So maybe some rank 9 units with a cheap lord is good. Obviously, Scarbrand is still an absolute force of nature in quite a few matchups, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. We can look at some of the costs as well of some of these units rank 9. It is going to be considerable, obviously, but Be'lakor just can't stand against all these elite Khorne cavalry in a surround like this. He's taking consistent damage, given their high melee attack and just high weapon damage, even though they're kind of more meant as anti-infantry. Herald comes in once again as well. Do we have another Horn of Khorne? No. Looks like the Exalted Bloodletters are finally giving up. Not before Be'lakor goes down. Oh yeah, the 2 Exalted Bloodletters with the stabilized leadership. Absolutely amazing. And there it is. So, hopefully guys enjoyed that one. A little bit of a different replay today. Not typical multiplayer builds. Again, usually most factions just go wider. But I guess not today. In terms of how you would counteract this with warriors, I mean, obviously, it's going to be tricky in melee, but I do think you take Chosen of Khorne and maybe juice him up with a little Flaming Sword of Ruin. I don't know, actually, to give him magic damage. Who knows? I would need to test out some infantry and see, but definitely Exalted Bloodletters are among the best anti-infantry in the game, if not the best individually. Again, we'll look at the cost chevrons after this, but certainly impressive performances. 2,000 from the rank 9 Bloodcrushers, the RORs 1487, 1655 for the Regiment of Renown Bloodletters, and 2,000 for Southern Unit of Bloodletters here, 1,500. Both Khornehounds 600 to 800, which is pretty solid, and then the Herald also 1,000. Considering how cheap he is, it's not a bad pick, definitely. Be'lakor also pays for himself, over 3,000 points there, and as expected, many of the Nurgle Chosen struggle pretty badly here. One of them does manage to get its value back, but in general, they're going to have a relatively tough time. The Marauder Horsemen also do a pretty decent job. Definitely a solid unit overall, but yeah, it's interesting. Definitely kind of off-meta and fun builds for sure. But maybe there's something to this if we look here. Nope, not that. If we go Skirmish versus AI... switch on over to Khorne. So, yeah, rank 9 Exalted Bloodletters. Let's just have a quick comparison. So, you're about the same cost, actually, as a Chosen of Khorne with dual weapons, which is really interesting to me. Obviously, the armor difference is huge, and Chosen of Khorne, less models, much higher overall weapon damage, but 13 bonus versus infantry here versus only 10 bonus versus infantry there, 51, 18 armor piercing. Whereas these guys have 31 armor piercing and 13 non-armor piercing. So, I mean, against armored units, obviously Exalted Bloodletters are going to be quite a bit better. They're also cheaper, or sorry, faster. And you get the Regiment of Renown at 123-point discount, which is quite nice. They also pick up the extra charged Hellblade, right? Hungry Blade, even. Less HP overall, but they do come with some physical resistance, so it is an interesting comparison to realize that these guys are actually the same cost. Likewise, for the Herald of Khorne's Fury, that's what, 1,700 for them. Base unit is 1,500, same as the regular Knights of Khorne. I do think the Knights of Khorne are going to be better against unarmored factions. But against Warriors of Chaos, obviously, you're going to expect some high-tier armored infantry, or at least mid-tier armored infantry, so definitely smart to go with these guys. At 2,000 points, I guess they did just barely pay for themselves, but impressive that they were able to, certainly. So it's interesting, I don't know, the fact that the Khorne units just have such high stats to juice them up that much, it's definitely risky, and against factions with a lot of, like, artillery missile damage, it's probably not going to work very well. Or, you know, the spell resistance will get you a decent way, certainly, but really, like, hard, dedicated nuke spells will probably still deal enough damage to shut something like this down. But, again, I have no idea. I would need to try it for myself and see. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, though. Hopefully you enjoyed this. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.